This meeting is being recorded. Well, of course it is, because this is the recorded it's not live, Full Fat Podcast with me, Matt Whittle, and I'm of course joined by my regular co-hosts, Terry Merkin, and, sorry, what was your name? Charlie Lilly, that's it.
That's
Charlie Lilly. Yeah. How are you guys? How's your week been?
Fantastic.
Yeah, good.
Fantastic week.
Have some exciting
Well, that's
news.
really all we need to know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to share my
we
exciting
don't need
news,
that.
but we don't need to do that. Okay.
Save it for the end to keep the viewers hooked.
The intro.
Stay tuned to hear my exciting news.
One thing I know all three of us did is we watched the first episode of Marvel's
What If?
A Prism of Infinite Possibilities. Definitely not the Twilight Zone. Ooh. And the first episode is, what if Captain Carter became Captain Britain? I mean Captain America. I mean Captain Carter. There we go. We got it in one. And she basically takes the super soldier serum instead of Steve, and we run through the beats of Captain America, the First Avenger, rather rigidly, I might say, but we'll get to that in a bit. What did you guys think of Captain Carter, both character and, I guess, the episode as a whole? I'm going to pass it over to Terry for the positive spin.
How did you know?
Because you texted me this morning saying you loved it.
Oh, did I? I forgot that I texted you. I feel like I finally feel how every little boy felt watching Captain America. Honestly. It's so cringe, but I was having a great time. I loved seeing it. I loved her costume, how strong... I love how they didn't keep her as she was. She got, like, bigger, and she was, like, way bigger than Steve. And Steve, the lovely dynamic they've got of, like, the little Labrador boy and the big strong woman. I love it.
I think their romance is that meme of Taika Waititi standing beneath Hela and showing her the iPad.
Absolutely.
Kate Blanchett, that's it.
As all relationships with Labrador boys are like.
I wouldn't know. But yeah, so you liked Captain Carter?
I really did. I really had a really good time. Yeah, I didn't realise that it was everything that I needed, and now I'm scared that you're going to rip it apart.
Well, I won't rip it apart, but Charlie might.
Oh no.
That was your segue.
So I enjoyed it. I just think that it just sort of it felt like it was speeding through all the beats of the first Avenger. And it was kind of like, I kind of wanted it to be a bit more weird and a bit more different. I like that we got to see her fight, and for some reason the action, I know it's animated, but is better than anything in the previous shows we've had. I don't understand that. But anyway, but I just feel like it was going through the motions a bit of a lot of it. I feel like it was speeding through all the hits, and I feel like we never really had a time to like really like chill. It was kind of very, very reliant on you of seeing like the first Avenger, and just like, oh, look at that! Hey, it's kind of what my problem with Marvel is at the moment, of like everything's become so referential to the point of like, it's like, hey, like wink wink, nudge nudge all the time. Remember this bit? Remember this? We're gonna give you like this new thing. I did enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like I must admit, I do think it's the Marvel fatigue for me at the moment, and I'm like, I really need some different stuff, and I feel like I feel like this What If is a kind of a metaphor for what we've been getting with the Marvel movies at the moment, which is just kind of retreads of what we've already done, but just a little bit different. And I just feel like, as much as it was cool to see Captain Carter like beating up some motherfuckers, it was I kind of felt like we could have taken it in a... I didn't really need her to join the present day. I kind of would have enjoyed it if there was more of her own thing, and like we kind of... I feel like we could have split it off the story and gone to weirder direction, instead of like kind of keeping that same sort of plot that we had from the first Avenger.
But,
and it kind of concerns me.
I agree.
It kind of concerns me for the other episodes, and like I'm kind of worried for things like T'Challa being in the Star-Lord thing, because it's like, is it just going to be Is it going to be the same
Terry.
thing again?
Sorry.
Terry, just before you jump in, I'd just like to establish myself as the neutral ground of Switzerland before you guys have at it. I agree with you, Terry, in the sense I really liked the character. I really enjoyed
Yes, I agree.
I really enjoyed the characterization that she was having fun with her powers and she was really enjoying this newfound strength rather than like Steve's kind of quiet appreciation. I like that she was really getting to let loose and have some fun with it. However, I do agree with Charlie in the sense that it's hard to pace something at 35 minutes when you're not following an original story and you're just following the beats of a 2-hour movie. I think if this was like Captain Carter becomes Captain Carter, and then we still set it in World War II, but it deviates even more. You know, like the Hydra Stomper and all those things are good, but let's push it even more in that direction. And I agree with you as well about it ending with Woman Out of Time. We've already gotten Steve and Peggy separated for 10 years. I feel like maybe what would have been more interesting is set it up so that Peggy, Captain Carter, Steve Hydra Stomper, their guy in the chair, Howard Stark. Let's see some more adventures into the 50s and 60s. Let's see Steve and Peggy found Shield together. That would be cool.
That's the real what if.
Exactly, yeah.
But I feel like the super soldier was created for a purpose, so like I don't think it would have made sense plot-wise for her to do different things to what Captain America did.
But don't you think in a premise that sort of spends so much time in the first couple of minutes setting up, like, that's it, the moment where the whole universe changes for this timeline, and then she just ends up doing, like, the exact same beats?
I think it's too much to change it too much, do you know what I mean? And I liked that it was just sort of rattling through, because I don't feel like I needed everything else. Like, the what if is like, when we all sit there going, what if this, and this, and this? That's how it felt. And it was fast-paced, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I honestly thought at one point Steve was going to become the Winter Soldier, and that really excited me. And then
But do you not think that would have been exciting?
That would have been much more exciting, actually. But it's still following the same plot beats. Like, somebody falls from the train and becomes the Winter Soldier. Like, it's still following the same plot.
What if we had that train sequence, and then he died... Mm-hmm. Peggy defeats Red Skull, saves the world. World War II ends. She continues operating, founding Shield with Howard Stark, moving into the 50s, 60s, and then we have a 60s set Captain America: The Winter Soldier. But because it's Peggy Carter and we haven't done the Frozen in Ice thing, it's suddenly super different. I'm like, that would be awesome, no?
Yeah,
and 60s spies, it's perfect.
We don't get the Captain America figure in the Avengers then, and that's probably what they're aiming for. I imagine they'll do all the episodes and somehow bring them together, and then the last episode will be like the Avengers, if that makes sense. The what if Avengers.
That's interesting, but I feel like you can still bring people together, like, from diverging timelines, you know what I mean? Like, we've picked up Peggy, Captain Carter from the 60s, we've picked up T'Challa from an Earth like our own, but in an alternate reality, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not Kevin Feige.
I think for what it is, and for like a short animated show, I think it did exactly what I wanted it to do. I enjoyed every second of it. I felt really empowered by Peggy Carter.
On that note, I think it was interesting to sort of have her conflict be that she's not taken seriously, and that even though she's super strong as a woman in the military, she's
that was like
forgotten.
A nice flip side to him.
Yeah, no, I liked it, but I also think like it provides that only in like the most shallow way, and I just think like the whole 30 minutes is really candy in the sense that the action I thought was perfectly composed. I thought it was really satisfying, timed really well with the sound design and the music, and the shadows and the lighting really gave like some beautiful depth, so you really felt like she was speeding into enemies. Definitely. Really satisfying.
I also loved the animation, just to throw that in there.
Sorry, you've bulldozed in with...
You were talking about
the animation. Talk about the animation.
No, you were talking about the lights and the fighting and stuff, so I was just throwing in there that the animation as a whole, I really enjoyed the style, so sorry to interrupt. The action.
That's all right. Well, I was just going to say that, like, all that stuff's great, but, like, the actual meat of the story, which is, like, what would it be for a woman to be the super soldier that stops Red Skull and saves the world in the 1940s, what would that say for feminism going through that decade? Like, and would that not be interesting rather than Captain Carter skipping it?
No, exactly.
Would it not be more interesting if she got to live through that and be a part of it?
I totally agree with you, but I think it will be interesting watching her jump 70 years and then going like, oh well, because of you now, like, women did this and women did that, and she can look back on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that everything needs to be the deep end of the pool. Do you know what I mean? I feel perfectly okay with this animated Marvel show being a shallow, what if, quick fire, here's some ideas to throw at you to stimulate your brain. You know, I don't think it needed to be any more than it was.
I think that's fair. I can understand that. And I do think like she was cool, and it was cool to see her back again, and like she's a great character in it. But yeah, I think maybe it's for me. I think it's just like the oversaturation of this market at the moment. I think I need something really different instead of just a little bit different. What you had before, but just a little bit different. You know what I mean? I kind of I need new. And I feel like this What If is an opportunity to do that, and it just concerns me for the rest of them, for it to just be like, the What If is just, what if this person is in that story, as opposed to what if this person is this character and it splinters off to a complete different story.
Yeah. What different themes can we explore by altering a part of the Marvel universe?
Yes.
I feel like it kind of doesn't. I don't want it to be too different. I like the idea of like, what if this person was in that story and that's all it was? You know what I mean? Because you still get like the nuances, you still get the different relationships. You know, I don't know. I don't feel like it needed to be vastly different, because that's not what the premise of the show is. The premise of the show is, what if this character was in this character's place? It's not. What if
I think you could go further. I think, if anything, my hope is that this is just because it's the introductory episode, they've stuck so rigidly to the beats. And as we go further and further, we'll start to get more into crazy land.
Yeah.
Same.
I think that audiences like familiar stories as well. That's why fairy tales go round and round and round. That's why we've had so many iterations of Cinderella and stuff, because people like familiar stories. So to take a familiar story...
But are you saying Captain America the First Avenger is Cinderella?
Yes.
I don't think we need it retold that many times.
Yes. So I
agree with you.
Yeah.
I think she's a great character, but I think it's almost like you've got Hayley Atwell, who was perfectly cast 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The fact that she had such great chemistry with Chris Evans in the first movie meant that Marvel could pull off bringing her back for the end of his story, and it felt right, even though they'd only just given her cameos, and to be fair, they gave her a TV show, but it's kind of like a bit diverging, isn't it? The fact that the character is so strong that they could pull that off, and then put her in this superhero role now that feels right. I like the idea of an alternate reality where Peggy Carter becomes Captain America. I like that she'd be having fun with her newfound strength. I like that she would wield a sword and she'd have this kind of like Captain Britain Excalibur kind of aesthetic. But just put her somewhere interesting. Like, if the rumours of her being in Doctor Strange 2 are accurate, I think that is the Captain Carter content that is going to excite me. Could you imagine Hayley Atwell in live action? Dush, 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 dush. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Definitely. That'd be great.
I can't wait to see how they beef her up.
Yeah, no,
how they
it's
grow
really
her
cool.
like a foot. Like,
Well, it was funny when she first came out the pod. I said to Matt, I was like, she doesn't look any different. And then it wasn't until she like stood next to like Steve, I was like, oh wait, she does.
oh, I really liked the.
That's how Charlie sees women. He's a feminist. This strong, broad at all times.
Of course.
Of course.
I really liked the
But
dynamic.
also that they
between...
could look after and nurture, because there's more to feminism than just masculine traits. I'll stop now before I dig a
You're
hole.
going to talk over the woman with feminism, yeah?
Yes, that's exactly what feminism was created for. Am I getting this right?
No, shut up.
Yes, my queen.
I forgot what I was saying now.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Oh,
That's a
see,
good
look,
point.
that's what men do. They just bulldoze. To be fair, you bulldozed me earlier. So
I did.
we're
Well,
even.
mine was just little aside.
I know, but it was in the middle of like the crux of my point, wasn't it? So like it essentially tore it in two. I was flying half a ship.
We're bickering and Charlie has the annoyed face.
I just want to say I also think feminism is great.
It's about time.
It's about time, I say.
Right, that there is an elite force of women warriors. It's about time.
I really loved the relationship between Peggy Carter and Howard Stark, because it was like slightly different, but it was sort of on par with the Cap Iron Man relationship. So I really enjoyed seeing those parallels and that dynamic.
He was the guy in the chair.
He was the guy in the chair.
I thought he was fun too, especially when he was like, "This is going to be awkward."
Howard Stark is definitely sexier than Tony Stark.
Dominic Cooper over Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
I can understand that. I do think that I must agree that I actually think that they got his character almost. I think he actually made him a little bit more interesting in this show. I kind of liked that he was a bit more like all over the place and like.
Yeah.
I think it gave him a little bit. I think that's kind of separated him a bit more from Danny Jr., Tony Stark. But I also still understand. I still felt like he has the mannerisms of his son, so it really worked for me. Actually, it kind of felt like this is what we wish we could have done the first time round with him.
Yeah.
Like now knowing what his son turned into, so we can put a bit of that character into him. And I just feel like he was really fun in this. I must admit, I think he was really fun. I thought all the character work was really strong in this. I think it was just literally for me. It was like I just didn't. I was expecting a bit more than just retreading the same beats.
which is fair.
I think that was it for me.
I thought the character work was okay. It did as much as the plot could allow.
Yes, I agree.
And it was nice to see Bucky Barnes, not Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes. It was nice to spend some time with him.
Yeah, although I thought, like, once you swap Steve and Peggy, Bucky doesn't really have much of a place in the story. Yeah.
No, and the bit I was confused about is, like, Steve literally made Peggy go and save him from the cell, and then, like, Steve, like, falls off the train, and Bucky's like, let's go.
Yeah.
He's just like, come on, Peggy. He'll be fine. Like,
I think that was
dead.
the low point of the special for me, when it's just like, the train bit, we're redoing this. Like, okay.
Yeah. But I thought it would have been really interesting if he came back as a Winter Soldier. That's what I was expecting. Or I was expecting him to, like, go through to the Avengers with her in his suit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I expected them to both be, part of the Avengers.
Well, when he fell off the train, Bucky, in the original timeline, doesn't Steve say that the experiments that he did helped him survive the fall or whatever, or that was when he started experimenting on him? So maybe in the time that Steve fell off the train and was captured, they find him laying on the ground, don't they? In kind of a similar way that Steve finds Bucky. Maybe Zola's already started experimenting on him, and maybe in the present timeline, Peggy finds out that Steve went missing around that time after World War II, and then you still do the Winter Soldier thing, and maybe you could incorporate elements of the Hydra Stomper in his Winter Soldier look.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Maybe he has, like, a Tesseract heart. Like Iron Man.
He's powered by Tesseract. I love the Tesseract, and honestly, I feel like I should be sick of it by now, but I'm not. It's the best Infinity Stone. I could do it all day long. Satisfying.
Which Infinity Stone is it?
Space.
So what does it do? It's just a battery.
It's like teleporting.
Everything.
Isn't it? Yeah.
They're not very clear on what all the stones do. I'd like a series that goes stone by stone, like a documentary, tells me what it does. Like, I want the lore.
They're just paperweights. What are you talking about?
That's true. Fucking
My
TV.
understanding is they
that.
all have their one bullshit unique ability, and then in general they're all such powerful artifacts that someone like Red Skull could just like juice up on it and like use it for his army and stuff. But
I also love.
So in theory, you could do it with a Power Stone as well.
I loved Red Skull just getting crushed by his own monster. I thought it was
I
very
thought that was
fitting.
shit.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great that he just got fucking squashed. Like I
thought it was weak.
Well,
does Peggy Carter not deserve a villain conflict as strong as what the man got? Why does this story see Red Skull just shoved into the background?
She chopped up all those tentacles with a fucking sword. When did Captain America do that?
Yeah, but that's like an action spectacle. It's not like a hero-villain dichotomy, is it? Like Red Skull and Steve. Like, it's not a great hero-villain relationship, but it's more than what we get in this.
I get it. They were running out of time though, so cut them some slack.
Yeah, I think that is the problem. Is you're stuffing a 2-hour movie into 35 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's funny that Red Skull, like, even when things go right, like, he just sucked. Like, he just, everything he did went wrong. Like, no matter what timeline he's in, he fucks it either quicker, and like, he's essentially living in hell as well, like living on that Soul planet in Infinity War as well.
Yeah.
And like, to know that in another reality, he just gets eaten by his own design. Like,
it's
hilarious.
probably a better end than going to Soul World, isn't it?
Probably,
Just
yeah.
getting crushed.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. And if you're into hentai, maybe it's even an erotic end. Who knows what gets Red Skull off?
Who knows?
That's the only reason he's
Probably world domination.
Not to end the world. To make
Oh,
hentai.
this is so sexy! Ah! Hail Hydra! Yeah. But yeah, I think I don't want to sound too harsh on Captain Carter, but I just I agree with Charlie's sentiment of we've gotten so much MCU this year. I kind of feel like if you're going to bombard us, things need to be a bit better than just okay.
That's
But
really
yeah,
strange.
I didn't hate it. I thought it was fun, and I would like to see more Captain Carter. If there's a What If season 2 with Captain Carter, sure, sign me up. Let's see
I think,
where it goes.
yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just really happy with Captain Carter as a character, as a hero. It made me feel really good, so I don't think I noticed the rest because I was too busy like, she's got a sword! So,
Yeah, I get it's cool because, you know, like 10 years ago, you know, little Matt, teenage Matt got to see, you know, I would say himself reflected, like I'm anything like post Super Soldier Serum Steve Rogers, but you know what I mean? Like, in the same way that you feel reflected by Peggy Carter
yeah, no,
as a woman.
exactly.
Yeah.
And,
So,
and that's the thing,
I do
like,
get that.
when I was a teenager and these were coming out, all I had really was Black Widow. And she's not really super, so...
Did you not like Pepper Potts? Oh, she's so good.
Yeah, with her gloop, is that what she calls it?
I
Gwyneth
don't
Paltrow
know.
and her gloop, and her
Gwyneth Paltrow and her
vagina-scented
gloop.
candle.
And
Ugh, I didn't know about
Did
that.
you not know about
she's
that?
so, like, yeah, she does.
Yeah, she has like a vagina-scented candle, and
Vagina scented.
yeah, her product's called Gloop, and it's all just really weird. Go and have a
Do you
look.
think if you lick the
Gloop,
candle, it
that's
tastes
a
like
horrible
pennies?
I think I might be very wrong. It might be. I think it's something like that.
I think it is that. I think I've heard that as
Yeah.
well.
I'm glad the question I asked was drowned out, really. I don't know if I'll ask it
I
again.
heard you saying something about licking the candle, but I didn't hear the rest. I deliberately spoke
chose-
over you.
Chose to ignore.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. I was just wondering if it tasted like pennies. Anyway, shall we wrap up Captain Carter?
Captain Carter. Yeah.
Captain Carter.
I mean, I think I've
Yeah.
said everything I need to say about it. It's fun, but I need more from my Marvel. We've got 9 pieces. Is it 9 pieces of content?
9 pieces of what if mini fillets in this bucket. Yeah.
9 crumbs of content.
And I'm sorry, but I hate calling movies content and stuff, but it's starting to feel like that with Marvel. Like, they're just churning this stuff
they're
out.
just
Like,
chucking
Yeah.
at us. It's
I mean,
a lot.
I don't really mind the whole calling things content. Like, we're in an age where it's just a way to collect up different forms of media, isn't it? Like, I don't think it's disrespectful to movie making to call it content, personally.
Yeah, it is content, isn't it? It's all content.
Like, it just became this thing where, like, saying it is, like, somehow, like, lesser than, or to say it is, like, makes it not still it can be a film and a piece of content at the same time. It's just, like, a collective way to describe, like, oh, what are you doing, Timmy? Oh, well, I'm watching my TikTok, and then later I'm going to watch a film, and then maybe later I'll play a video game. Cool, get some more content, Timmy. Like, I can see Charlie just wants to, like, seethingly disagree.
yeah, I just find it kind of strips it down to that very, like, marketing business side of things, and I know that's what film ultimately is, but like I just don't like to consider it that way, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
feel
what
like
does.
it already is that, and also I think it's more sort of, it's like, for example, if I posted a picture on Instagram and then posted a video, do you know what I mean? It's like, what if someone was like, oh, what do you do on Instagram? I'd be like, oh, well, I post content. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just an easier way of saying, well, multiple things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but a movie doesn't fit into that figure, into those two.
Why
two
not?
things.
You could post a short film on your Instagram. Do you know
Would
what I
you
mean?
prefer multimedia, Charlie? Would
Just
that
a
make you feel
movie.
better? If we called it all
Just call it a film.
multimedia.
Multimedia. I'm going to post some new multimedia today.
I just feel like it just strips it down to like, just like, yeah, there you go. We've got some more coming on the way, instead of like
But then,
this thing I worked really hard on, and like I really wanted to like tell this story that I've been dying to
But I
tell.
think that's
But-
like adding loads of things onto
Yeah.
it. It's just like a
Like-
way to
Yeah,
describe
like for example, when you say art,
media.
you use that to describe paintings, drawings, sculptures. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So art is the umbrella term, whereas I think like content would be the umbrella term for, you know, film and stuff.
I think it got popular because it's a less wanky way of saying check out my art, which art could be a film, a picture, do you know, a GIF, a TikTok, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like so I think it's just a way that people feel comfortable saying art, because that's what you're doing, really, isn't it? Like if you're creating anything or editing or filming or whatever. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I just personally, it's one of those things. It's like, do we really have time for this content versus saying something else debate? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, debate things like that is just nonsensical anyway. But
We have bigger fish to fry. It's nonsensical
Yeah,
to debate
but-
it. We're debating
we
it
are
right
debating
now,
it, but
Charlie.
do you know what I mean? Like, in
I know, and
terms
it's
of, like,
stupid.
yeah, it is stupid, but like,
This is nonsense.
I understand why people feel on both sides, you know, and it's just weird to call like the Irishman content or something. Do you know what I mean? It's just weird to me. Like, it's just,
But it's like, I don't think it's like not a film. Like, you know,
no, I agree.
all film
It's just,
is
it's just
content,
a weird
but not all
word to
content's
describe.
film.
It's just to strip it down to its bare essence. It's bare.
Yeah.
Like, it's a product. It just like I just don't like.
I mean,
thought
at
of
the
that.
end
I mean,
of the day,
it doesn't matter ultimately, but like,
at the end of the day, it is a product. Like,
yeah, I know, but
it's all got to go
There's-
like you've got to have the art and the business hand in hand, otherwise they don't. No, nothing goes anywhere.
And it also isn't a product. You know, it's only a product as much as you want to see how Hollywood. You know, what I mean, how the film industry operates anyway. Like, if you want to just say it's just purely art, then it doesn't matter whether you call it content or not. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I get you. Just a word.
Anyway, you know what? Look, you've both been wrong once a piece today. You know, my opinion of Captain Carter and of content is obviously absolute. And,
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
We will now spend 10 minutes singing the
We'll see
Matt
what
Whittle national
we'll see what the
anthem.
comments say.
We'll see what the comments say.
Yeah.
Yeah? You're going to get all your funny little friends into the comments to disagree with me, are you? Oh, you're a
I got
funny
shit.
little friends. You ain't got any friends? Yeah, I know. Other than me. Since nursery. No, it's not true. He's quite a popular lad, actually. Quite a popular lad. Get to know.
Get to know.
We've got 9 minutes left of this Zoom call, and I would rather like to hurry through the corporate trash candy that was Jungle Cruise, which me and Charlie saw this week. Charlie, would you like to take it away now?
Yeah. Do I have to like tell you the plot?
Just speed through it, yeah. What plot there is?
Okay, so essentially, Emily Blunt finds out that she wants to get the old El Dorado stuff. You know that movie that, you know, what's his face did? My boy,
Romance.
Werner Herzog. Well, Werner Herzog made Aguirre, the Wrath of God. It's
well, that was
movie.
way off.
It's the sequel to that movie. Where Emily Blunt needs to get someone who could like ride a boat really well to
I love riding boats.
riding boats, steer a boat, whatever the fuck, a boat to fucking go to this place where it will basically help medicine because you can heal yourself really easily or some shit. And she meets up with a Rock who, you know, is a very good steerer of boats, and they go on an adventure really. But whilst this is happening, you have the great Jesse Plemons as the villain, who is also seeking for this like ultimate power, but obviously he wants it for like world domination, of course.
Oh, of course.
So of course, so they go there, but there's also like mystical, things, and like the El Dorado people that
Mystical
once
things?
went missing trying to find this gold,
Ooh.
have come back as like bee men, or like, and they're also trying to stop Emily Blunt and The Rock from getting this mystical power thing.
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
I guess
Charlie,
what,
can I?
I'm not sure what I was expecting you to say, but B-Men was not at the
No.
top of the list. That seems so bizarre.
It's not too far from the truth, Matt, was that?
No, it's basically a poor man's Indiana Jones / poor man's
Pirates of
Mummy
the Caribbean.
/ poor man's Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
all rolled into one.
And Jumanji?
No, not really any
No.
Jumanji.
Oh, I expected it to
no.
be kind of Jumanji. The new
No.
Jumanji, because obviously he's in
no.
that, isn't he?
Yeah, no, it rips off plot beats of Pirates of the Caribbean so liberally, but without any of the heart and
So-
charm and set pieces that
Yep.
made those films great. Yeah, no, I thought it could be quite fun in the first 10 minutes because
Yeah.
they were going for some like, Indiana Jones-esque hijinks with Emily Blunt in the library, but then it just goes downhill because it's just Indiana Jones, but imagine all the fun stripped out, and the plot is, as I say, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's something you've seen before. The jokes are bad. The action is shot so
Non-existent.
terribly.
Did Emily
Them
I
Blunt-
Blunt?
got bored. I got so bored.
Did Emily Blunt have lots to do, or did she need a man to help her this time?
No.
Yes and no.
In fact, they keep making a point that she doesn't. It feels like Disney really trying hard to like please everyone with this movie, and it's not fun. There's no the actions. There's no. I don't remember any action scenes.
Wow.
Most of the time, it's just them talking on the boat, telling you the plot,
Yeah.
and telling you their characters, and then having reveals that are like midway through the film that didn't need to be a reveal. They could have just been there from the start. Like weird shit.
I'm so
It's
glad
way
I
too
skipped
long.
that one.
Way too long. And
Yeah, well-
honestly, it was painful
well-
to watch. It was painful.
My
I
mum
was
wanted to
bored.
see it, and I saw it with Charlie instead. So I'm hoping my mum doesn't still want to see it because I don't want to see it again.
Oh,
but I would like to
mate,
take
you
it to the
can't.
cinema.
Yeah, just please take this to something else.
Find
It's like-
something
it's like,
else.
Surely there's something else, mate. Because I don't know.
I'll stick her in front of Suicide Squads.
Yeah,
Is Old still out? She might like that.
yeah, that's good.
Oh, maybe.
That's a good one.
I also thought it was so tired to have Jack Whitehall's character come out as gay in this big, long, drawn-out moment. But of course, he doesn't say that he's gay. He just alludes to it because obviously, if Disney wants to sell this in certain territories, they need to make sure
Yeah.
that it is only an illusion and nothing more. And I think it's also very well timed that we saw this movie and we saw that moment when Russell T Davies this week has Terry. I know you maybe you disagree slightly with me, but I think he's come out and said that he felt the representation of bisexuality in Loki. I think he's essentially saying it's not good enough for kind of the reason that I think it's weak in Jungle Cruise is that they allude to these things, but they don't explicitly state them, and they don't explore like queer representation in any meaningful way. Like Rusty Davies was saying that he said that he saw people saying that Loki was a pansexual show, and he doesn't feel like it is in any way, shape, or form a pansexual show. Like just because he happens to say at one point that he likes princes. And I think he's right on the money. Like we should expect more from a company like Disney. Like have Jack Whitehall's character say he's gay. Don't beat around the bush.
It just reminded me like this whole film sort of felt like that bit in The Boys. When like the producers come to the superheroes and they're like, oh, could we push like this like diversity thing here? What is like, that scene because it like sells more tickets. Like it's like it feels like they're doing it because it sells more as opposed to like actually trying to do something for the cause or. Do you know what I mean?
It's
Actually,
absolutely financially
No,
driven.
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
literally.
Yeah.
And it's
But I think
so
that's the
see-through,
difference.
transparent when that happens.
Oh,
That's the difference with
100%.
someone like Rusty Davies, though, is like Rusty Davies was making these queer allusions in a show 16 years ago on screens to like 10 million viewers in Doctor Who. He then also had a spin-off show in Torchwood, which was super gay, like explicitly gay, and then he's the only person like with something like It's a Sin showing like explicit gay sex in a big TV drama. So I totally see why he's done both the drama angle and the sci-fi high concept angle, and he's put all those things in before. So I see why 16 years later Disney's getting a pat on the back for doing something that Russell T Davies did back then. I see why he's frustrated.
No, I totally agree, and I agree with what he says about it's not a bisexual, pansexual show in the slightest with Loki, with regards to Loki. However, it is exactly that. It's not a bisexual, pansexual show. It's not about his sexuality. So I think in that instance, it was enough for him to just go, yeah, sometimes I date princes, sometimes I date princesses. We don't see Loki in a romantic setting. Like, the only love he has is for himself, really. And we see that, and I think that that's the most interesting part of that. I don't think we need to see, and like we could always like go back in time and like get to know Loki as this bisexual character and see his relationship with those princes, but right now he is in the TVA, like he's not thinking about the poo nor the sausage, like. But
I think Russell T's point is that we're not going to get to see that. Like, he says that he's gone with princes, and then we get like a typically straight story.
I totally agree with that. And I think in the case of Jungle Cruise, yes, that's absolutely foreign, and the fact that they're like alluding to it and they won't just say it, like. But I don't feel that we do need to see Loki in that setting, because the show's not about that, because we don't really explore the characters' sexualities. We have like romances that we follow through and love stories. But Loki's not had that yet. We're just starting to explore that, and I think that it opens it up. And, you know, as a bisexual woman, like, Russell T, sorry, mate, you're not bisexual. Like, that, like, bisexual representation is still, like, so much less than gay or straight, than gay representation, than lesbian representation. Like, there is biphobia within the LGBT community itself. So, like, to just somebody to turn around and say, I'm bisexual, without alluding to the fact that they're slutty or greedy or anything like that, I think is a huge step.
Terry got beaten by the Zoom call there, but let's dive right in. Terry, what were you saying?
Let's dive back in. I was saying that it is going to take its time to bleed through into mainstream content a little bit more. But, you know, that's going to take time. Like, there's a big step from the BBC to Disney, do you know what I mean? And we've all worked with IP holders, we've all worked with producers and people in big, shiny offices who say, no, we can't have gay people on TV, are you crazy? And, you know, it's about putting what you can, because these companies won't allow you to as an artist.
But to me, the fact that Russell T Davies did it at the British Broadcasting Corporation 16 years ago, and he's an out gay man, and he managed to do all that, like, you know, I understand, like, I'm not blaming, you know, like people like Kate Herron and the directors and writers behind Loki, because, you know, as you say, they work within specific boundaries, and I don't think Russell T Davies is blaming them either, but I think what he's saying is he's looking to Disney, he's looking to the heads and saying, this isn't good enough.
Yeah, do better. Absolutely do better.
Because like in Jungle Cruise, it's... Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say this shouldn't be like the first bisexual character that I'm relating to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Disney.
And I feel like sometimes in these moments, it's like, it's just such bait. Like the Jungle Cruise thing, it's like slow zoom in on Jack Whitehall's face, and as he's like, you know, I just loved someone else, you know, like, oh, who could that be? Like, what are you talking about? What are you referring to? You said that you turned down a woman's hand. Oh, like, you know, like, I just think it would be so much stronger in one of these things if they just said they were gay, you know, say a line that you can't just cut out of the story.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Also, I would like to say, going back to 5 minutes ago, before I'm going to cut back like Suicide Squad here, when I said that Loki says that he's bisexual, and then we, for all intents and purposes, get a straight story. Obviously, you could still be bisexual and then date a woman, and showing that story would still not invalidate that you're bisexual. I guess what I really meant was more that if you wanted to cut that scene out, you would, for all intents and purposes, still get shown a story that they could happily show to any market. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then our story on this Full Fat podcast appears a straight story, because we are male-female couple. But I am queer as they come.
Yes, no, I know, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, when I said it, I was like, it's not a straight story, but it's like, kind of,
and I appreciate you for saying that. I think that's...
No worries, baby.
Trained you well.
Ruff, ruff.
To jump off that and talk about Jungle Cruise one last time, I know I do.
One last time.
I know I do a podcast called Your Favourite Film's Awful, where we defend movies from negative reviews. And you know I don't like being negative about movies if you listen to that podcast. But sorry, Jungle Cruise is shit. It is.
Are you
shit.
going to defend
shit.
Jungle Cruise against good reviews?
No,
against
I'm
good
so
reviews.
sick of mediocrity, going through the motions, f***ing movies, and these are the f***ing movies that are replacing those mid-budget thrillers. And I'm so f***ing sick and tired that we're getting these f***ing disgraces to f***ing movies, like this beat for beat, all the shit you've seen before, just complete f***ing product that we're getting that is just. It annoys me more than like a movie that tries to do something and is shit. Like, it doesn't even try. Do you know what I mean? To me, it's like it just tries to give you what you've had before, and it's still just a mediocre, like, boring piece of shit. I'm sorry, I have to go. Like, it just annoyed me because I'm just like, the fucking cinemas are in a state right now where we need quality movies.
Yeah.
We need this shit, and to have a family movie come out, which is the fucking movie that family movies are what we need for cinemas to go back to what they are, because they make so much money, and and everyone goes to see the new family movie because it's something to do with their kids for the weekend. And the fact that people are going to go see this and then be like, why the did we leave our house? We could have watched this on fucking Amazon or HBO, whatever the fuck it is. Like, breaks my heart when we could have had another Pirates of the Caribbean that everyone would be like, oh, I'm so glad I got to see it at the cinema. Yeah. And it just annoys me to no end. And maybe I'm being harsh on it, but I've got no tolerance for this shit anymore with films. Like, we can't be doing this. TV is like killing it. If we can do it at TV, why the f*** can we not do this in films? And like, I know the market is destroyed from streaming and obviously the coronavirus and the lack of DVD sales, that films can't have another life anymore, so they're so reliant on either big budget superhero movies because they're guaranteed to make money, or low budget horror movies because they're also guaranteed to make money, that we don't get these movies in between. And it just frustrates me that when we get these like family fun movies that could be so fun and be for everyone and could be a blast, and instead it's just a mediocre piece of drivel. I'm sorry, like, it just annoyed me like to no end. Like, we need good shit right now. We need good shit. And I just won't take this kind of, let's tick all the boxes so that everyone can fucking like this movie that ends up having nothing to offer. Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. And I love that rant. I had a great time listening to it.
I really want you to bleep out all the swear words because they were like every other word, so I want you to edit that.
You may have to bleep
challenge.
it for YouTube.
Oh yeah. It was only fucks though. I didn't say anything else, did I?
Fucks and shits.
It's the frequency of which you say them rather than saying them.
Oh really? What, YouTube blocks them?
Yeah, you did it quite a lot.
Well, it says in the ad thing, like, you know, like you say a few. Do you say like these swear words a few times? Say for ads. So you may have to.
Maybe I should broaden my vocabulary so that I can give it as much intensity as the word fuck does. But there's not many words that I feel like do that. But I want to get there. I'm gonna find some words, guys. And next week I'm gonna rant again, but without the swearing.
Next week on Charlie Finds the Words.
I know I don't usually get angry and like rant about these films of being negative and like, but for goddamn, I needed to get that out. Because I'm frustrated. I'm fucking sad that the industry I love so much and want to try and enter myself is crippling. It's crippling.
No, I feel you. It's disappointing that we're getting bombarded with these blockbusters that are not good. And as you say, mid-budget thrillers are pretty much a complete ghost town. But
they're on TV.
I wonder. Yeah, they're on TV. I wonder if, like, a couple of these big blockbusters fail in this we're not quite post-pandemic yet, but this post-pandemic era, I wonder if we will see a return to more sort of 70 million, 60 million sort of thrillers and stuff. Maybe studios will be forced to move away from the spectacle and try and focus on getting people back in the theatres with what worked in the first place.
I
It might
hope
be the
so.
70s again,
Yeah, maybe we need
or the 90s.
Yeah, maybe we need the crash of the system, the studio system, like we had in like the 60s, to have the new Hollywood like we did in the 70s again. Maybe that's what we need to go through. I don't know.
It'd be good. It'd be good.
And if you're going to make a
Fine.
superhero movie or a Disney movie, it's got to be at least as good as the Suicide Squad for me to care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, it's got to be good.
Yeah.
It's got to be legit.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry to upset you again, Charlie, but I have some more bad news. I have
Oh, no.
forsaken you, and I've fallen to the dark side, and I've been watching Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I've got no problems with that.
You know, and now Charlie's going to have to sit and listen to us talk about it because I've been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, we watched all of Russell T Davies Series 4, which is the third David Tennant season, if you remember that, Charlie.
Oh, I do remember that. Yes, I
Yeah.
was a big fan of Tenet when I was younger.
Yes,
What did you think, Tezza?
I was first brought in by the library, which I was just so impressed by the storytelling. I kind of, at first, when it was doing all the stuff with the little girl in the first scene, I forgot that I was watching Doctor Who because I was so in, and then suddenly it did the woo, the opening, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm watching Doctor Who. And then, yeah, no, the storytelling was great. I was literally sat there like, I love Donna Noble as a companion. I think she's probably my favourite so far at the minute. I've seen some of Martha Jones and some of Amy Pond. Yeah, I don't like Martha Jones. I don't really like Amy Pond. I'm sorry, babe.
I thought you would like Donna Noble because I think you've seen a lot of like companions be like fawning over the Doctor. Oh, Doctor, you're so clever.
Yeah.
And which I don't think you dig. Whereas like Donna being like, no, this is not happening. Like, you're not my type.
She's
Let's
great.
just go and let's go and venture
When
the
she's
stars.
like, you're looking for a mate.
She's like his big sister. At times.
Yes. No, I love it. And I feel like if I became a companion, I'd have more of that relationship with the Doctor.
Well, I bloody well hope so. Trying to shag him the night before our wedding.
I must admit, hearing you talk about that sting at the start, it did remind me that like, I must admit, I do think that when those opening stings in Doctor Who are fire and then it drops to the fucking theme, I do think there is like not quite many TV shows that have that kind of impact. Like,
Yeah.
when that theme drops, like, and you have like this kind of like, oh shit, this is gonna be an interesting episode.
Yeah.
I like, even like, to me, like, even now, if we watch an episode or something, like when I was a kid, there's like a magical feeling to that. I don't know if it's like a British thing, like I don't know if it's like there's something like when that happens where you kind of, there's a warmth to that. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I associate it with me when I was younger, watching it with my family and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's quite a cultural thing, isn't it, Doctor Who, I find.
Yeah.
Even though obviously it's very popular in America. But when that sting thing happens, like, everyone has stories of their parents were so scared of the theme that they like hid behind the sofa. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you hear those stuff, but when, you know, you get that good sting, like you just said, it just reminded me when that theme drops, it's like, okay, we're in for a good one, sort of thing.
Yeah, like when you hear that little TARDIS whirring, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
guys, this is like my full fat podcast dream. Fantastic.
I'm currently up to the Santorian, is that right? The Santorian, the reptile people who come out of the Earth.
Oh, the Silurians.
Oh, that's cool.
Silurians. Yeah, I'm not. It's another two-part that I'm already bored by.
Yeah, it's Chris Chibnall for you. So
Yeah, I like that they got rid of Amy. I like it's the Doctor and Rory, but I don't think then they've put the Doctor with some other people and not with Rory. And I think it would have been a better dynamic to have the Doctor and Rory together, and
So
like
you've
Rory's
still got to
pretending
finish
to be a
part
policeman
two?
or something. Yeah. I've
Okay,
been
interesting.
slowly making my way through part one because this one has been.
It ends on a strong note, that two-parter, though.
Okay.
It ends
Good
on a
to
strong
know.
note.
I found with most of the two-parters, one of them is always paced really badly. Every single Doctor Who two-parter I've watched, one episode is paced terribly, and the other's fire.
Interesting. I think it's been really interesting that I got you to watch Series 5 before, and I don't think you were that super into it. Whereas
Yeah.
Series 4 and Russell T Davies, we kind of we creamed through it, and I didn't feel like I was forcing. When you try and get someone to watch a thing you really care about, and they want to watch it with you, but you can tell, like, you know what I mean? It's not really their thing. I didn't feel like we had that with Series 4. I feel like you were really enjoying it.
I was fully in, and it was mostly about the way they told the stories. A lot in the majority of the episodes in season 4, the storytelling, the character development, the like little threads that they give you throughout the season with all like the lost planets and stuff. I just thought it was all really, really good, and I had a really great time like watching the story, and that's what I loved about it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we laughed at all of the campy hilarity and stupid moments.
Of course, but that's the charm of it. That's like we get these like big superhero moments that are cringe, and it's part of a superhero movie, and we love them, we lap them up. We do the same with this Doctor Who. Like some of it is cringe, some of it is low budget. It is like British TV at its finest.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, fantismo, molto bene.
He's done it. He's cracked me.
I have. Yeah, no. The moment I knew I got her was she was asking me questions about when we see the Ood again, and I was like, because she loves the Ood, they're so cute. I knew you would. And I was like, oh, well, the next time they see them, they come and meet the Doctor, and they're like, we'll sing you to your sleep, Doctor, as he regenerates. And she was like, what are you doing?
There was one episode, I can't remember which one it was, but we were sat there, and I literally had my hands in my head, and I was like, what is happening? Like, it was I can't remember which episode it was, but I've had a lot of fun.
I definitely think you've gravitated more towards Russell T Davies' sort of era of Doctor Who, which I think is more emotionally resonant and has like more clear-cut characters and more down-to-earth characters than Moffat.
I feel like Moffat's kind of giving me the Super Who-Lock vibes that I got as a teenager on Tumblr.
It is that era. It's total Tumblr era.
So I think that's kind of the prejudice I have against Matt Smith's era.
I wonder the same thing, if I'm honest. I need to watch more of like the Matt Smith stuff, because I did like the first episode I did, but I wonder I wonder if I feel the same, because I really like the emotional stuff of like Tennant and Eccleston's Who, and to hear you say that, Matt, I think it's really interesting. So because I did find it's very like heightened Super Who in terms of, you know, he's giving the big speeches all the time, he's running around figuring it out. But I want to watch more to just have a definitive opinion on that. But that's interesting that Terry said that, because I could imagine that. I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's a balance, because I think Moffat gets the sci-fi better, but
the high
Rusty
concept,
Davies gets the people better. Yeah.
It's a bit like, is it bow ties or fezzes are cool? He says one thing is cool, and everybody made it a huge thing, and it's that kind of vibe that makes my skin crawl, you know.
But
however,
you got to think about when it came out.
I suppose he did have some really cool like heat sensor sunglasses that I bet you.
Oh, so you like the goofy sunglasses?
As a teenager. No, I just bet that you like creamed over them as a teenager. I was sat there
I did
thinking,
have my hair like Matt Smith.
I can confirm.
Yeah, I did. I did try and hate the look. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, yeah. And I was incredibly skinny. I don't look like I'm aping Matt Smith now.
Can I talk about
terrible bed hair that I've revealed to the audience?
Can I talk
Jack
about
Whitehall.
Peak Matt though?
Yes, I'd love to.
Peak Matt, Doctor Who. One of my favourite Matt Doctor Who moments is when we was at Comic-Con, and he's dressed as Matt Smith's Doctor with the cowboy hat on, and he walks past like a bunch of like other Doctor Who like dressed cosplays, and he goes, "Look at those nerds!" I just like died in hysterics. But like the funny part is that the people that did it didn't know like how to take it, because they were like, "He's dressed the same as us." Like what does he mean? Oh, it was. My
I don't think they got that I was joking.
Yeah, no.
But I felt like it was. I felt like it was fairly obvious.
Pretty clear. Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Comic-Con's a bit of a minefield for how people are going to take things and how people are going to be with you. Like, tread carefully at Comic-Con.
Yeah, you need to suss out the free hugs people before you go over to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also have no touching rules when people want to take photos with you. I had to implement that when I went.
Yeah.
'Cause I was dressed as Poison Ivy, and some people like to get cuddly, and you're like, please, no.
Yeah. You want the Keanu hugs, don't you? That's what you want.
Yeah.
Terry, I like
Keanu
to
is
get
king.
cuddly. Do we have a no touching rule?
I thought we were going for tapas tonight.
Oh well, I thought that was food. Although maybe I will be eating. Oh, this is getting gross. Yeah.
You ruined it. Tapas was all
You went
it
too
needed.
far.
Oh,
It was
no.
subtle enough.
It was subtle enough. I don't think anything on this podcast has been subtle for the past
True.
40 minutes. The
I
subtlety of a
was told-
jackhammer.
I was told by Mr. Matthew that if he didn't take me for dinner tonight, we were no longer boyfriend and girlfriend. We're just friends with benefits. We have to go on dates to achieve boyfriend and girlfriend status, apparently.
Yeah, 'cause she was like, we don't have to go out. We can just like chill. And I was like, well, you might as well be my friend with benefits instead then.
It's
If I'm
part
gonna
of the
get to
fun.
take you out on a
dating, isn't
date.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to being taken for dinner.
It was a ruse. I'm not really taking you for dinner. We're just going to stay in like a normal couple.
Okay, I like that too. We can watch Doc 2.
Oh my god, what have I done?
The camera's rising.
It would
Docky
never
who?
reach.
Trying to lift the table.
He's got a little ducky boner.
Docky who? Right, well, I think that's enough carry on humour for one podcast. If you'd like to find us on social media, you can Google our names, and we'll see you next week for
Wait, I
episode
just have
2.
a little plug. I have a plug.
Oh,
have to
that's
say
true.
it.
That's true. Let me just drum up some fanfare. So earlier, you may have heard that Terry had an announcement this week when I asked her what she was up to, and you've been waiting all podcast for the big reveal. So now it's going to come. Like in less than 5 seconds, you're going to hear what Terry had to say.
Okay, so I have 2 bits of news. One is relating to the listeners and one isn't. The one that's not relating to you guys is I'm going to go on tour, so you'll see lots of different backgrounds over the next 6-8 weeks, so that's fun. I got an acting job, yay. I just want to share that because I'm really excited. It's my first one.
Hey.
We're just going to celebrate. And then on the 18th of September, I will be taking part in a white-collar charity boxing match against another real person in a big real ring with real boxing gloves on. I got punched in the face a lot last night. It was really good. I've become a person that's like, yeah, hit me, which is a bit weird. But yeah, you can donate. We'll put the links in the bottom. You can get tickets if you want to come to London, but maybe don't. But the thing that would really help would be to donate to the charity. Matt will put the link in the bottom, in the bio, in the description thing. And yeah, I'm donating. I'm raising money for Mind, which is the mental health charity, which is a charity that's really close to me because, you know, we all suffer from mental health. So yeah, if you could donate, that would be really helpful and good of you, and your positive karma will get back round to you. So
Amazing. And
Tess
I
Tyson.
can't wait to see Terry turn into my Captain Carter whilst I sit on the sidelines.
you know, I'm already getting there, baby. Look at that.
Damn.
I thought I sparred with an MMA fighter last night, and she absolutely wrecked me. But it was great fun. And I learnt a lot.
Fantastic.
This is cool. This is very cool. I'm very excited to watch.
And
Yeah,
then we
this
had
is
to do the
Charlie's
thing
wet
where you
dream.
punch each. We had to punch each other in the abs.
Yep, nice.
And then
You punched each
I
other
was
in the
like,
ass?
Yes.
Okay, my turn.
I was gonna make a joke then, but I can't. We'll move.
We'll move on. Swiftly.
That was it. So bye.
Fantastic. Bye.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Cheery
Farewell. Cheery bye.